Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Apologies for the completely random introduction to this video. I just need to quickly jump on because I actually lost the beginning part of this video, so I'm really sorry, but it was literally just the skincare and how I started on the eyes. All it basically was my Khiels Ultra Moisturizer, Origins eye cream, and I used my Natasha Denona Camel palette. It was this shade here, just all over the lid of the eye, and then it was this one here, that one there, and that was just buffed in. So I used the 239 and the first colour, pat that over the lid, and then I just used my HD buffing brush with the second shade just to buff it out in the corners of the eye. But I think that was pretty much it with my skincare as well. So I'm sorry that I lost the intro to the video and the beginning part of that, but hopefully that explains it enough for me to just jump in and carry on with the video now. I hope you've all been enjoying the lovely sunshine today. I certainly have. I'm nice and pink in the face. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. It's a MAC Reflex Pearl 239. At this point, I'm just going to quickly go and do the other side, and then I'll bring it back again. Okay, we're up to speed. I'm just going to do a bit of eyeliner. I'm going to be using this tiny little brush here, and this is a MAC, and I think it's a 210. Also going to be using MAC Black Track. Eyeliner on. I'm just going to whack a little bit of mascara on now. The only one that I use in my makeup kit, and it's the MAC Extended Play. This one's brilliant. It's waterproof, smudge proof, flake proof, everything proof. I don't use anything else when it comes to weddings, brides, mothers of the brides, etc. because, you know, weddings and tears and all of that. You want it to last all day. I'm going to go on to my eyebrows using the MAC eyebrow styler in shade Spiked. Quick tip with regards to eyebrows. So I always suggest to my brides before they come in for their trial to treat it. You want to treat it like it is your wedding day, because why wouldn't you? Like, I say to my brides, try and have a brow wax done about 2 or 3 days before, and your lip wax as well, just anything you'd normally do. Still do that before your trial as well. If you're gonna fake tan on your wedding day, or you're planning to, then fake tan before your trial as well, because makeup has such a different effect. If you're wearing fake tan or not wearing fake tan, it's a massive difference. So whatever you're planning on doing for your wedding day, make sure you do it before your trial as well. I'm just gonna clean up underneath my brow like I usually do with my coverage foundation and my 212 brush by MAC. You don't even need a lot of product to do this with. It's more about your, you know, being precise with your application. Blend it out. First of all, I buff out those bits and I come out this way with it, like into my nose and up into the front of my brow. And then you just go lightly across underneath the eye. As I've said before, this is just what I call a clean up brush that's got no product on it. It's microfiber brush hairs. This is just the high definition one. There's no name for this brush. I'll try and find out what it's called online. Okay, what's next? Lashes. Crispy lashes that I sell. They're available on my website, which I will link pop down here, if that works. And now I'm going to move on to my skin. One of my favourites for bridal, and it's the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder. I either like using this or Armani Luminous Silk. What else do I like? MAC Face and Body as well is a really good one. Build it up nicely. I'm using a damp sponge. Concealer I'm using today is NARS Creamy Concealer in shade Custard. See how this is quite thick and creamy, and I'm just going in the areas where I need it. Then I'm using my concealer brush, the only thing I'd use for concealer other than a sponge. 270. Now I'm using the Mercier powder, and this is the translucent loose powder. Use that with a MAC brush, 133 brush. And then I'm bringing it down because I get quite shiny here. So I'm now just patting it onto any areas where I get a bit of shine. So it just tends to be down my T-zone and just up here onto my forehead, just a little bit. Don't want to take the dewiness and like the freshness away from the skin too much, so I'm not going to do all over. I just literally where I need it. Brighten up under the eyes a little bit, so I'm going to use a powder which has actually got some pigment in it now. Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder, and that's shade 2 that I'm using with the same brush. Now I'm actually going to go on to my blusher. So normally I do my bronzer, but I'm actually going to do my blusher at the moment. It's in Charlotte Tilbury, and this is Cheek to Cheek Swish and Pop blusher, and this one's shade Loveglow 137. So basically you're meant to swish and then pop. Swish and pop, and the same with your cheek. So swish and pop. I bring it up into the cheekbone. The thing with blusher is that it's the first thing to fade from your makeup, like throughout the day. So I would suggest purchasing a blusher to have on the day just to top up with, because it is the first thing to wear down. I'm gonna go in with highlighter. Becca Champagne Pop, my favourite. I'm a highlighter now because I find it blends nicer when you put your bronzer on after doing it. The products just merge better together, rather than sometimes you can do your blusher, your bronzer, and then your highlight just sits on top of it all, and that's when it looks a bit liney and obvious. See how I'm just blending that in with my blusher now, and it's actually taking the blusher down slightly as well. Now I'm going to go in with my bronzer. For that I'm using the Hoola by Benefit. If you didn't know, I used to work at Benefit. I was a Benny babe back in the day. Long time ago, oh my god. That was my first job on a makeup counter. So I'm just using the Hoola, and I'm using a MAC brush, 238. I love these because it's got a nice point on it. So it's really good for sculpting the face. So I like using Hoola first because it's got a cooler undertone to it, so it's not too like bronzy or too orangey. It's really nice for bridal because of those cooler undertones. So if you've seen my videos before, you'll notice that I actually go in with a couple of different either powders or bronzers. So this is the first one that I'm using for this look. And you always want to go in with the cooler tone first. Another great product I use is the Aucoin, is it? And these are actual proper sculpting powders, and see how they almost look greyish, but they're really great for creating. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit for you. See the coolness of it just really sculpts the face. Just want to keep merging them all back together as well. Just gives you more like structure to the face. Also really good for contouring, but they create more of a shadow than, because if you just sometimes go in with a bronzer, that's where it looks a bit muddy. Whereas if you're using a cooler tone like this, it's creating a shadow, which is all you want to do for when you're contouring your face. That's what it's about, is just creating those shadows. Then I'm going to go in with my bronzer over the top. So I'm going to use the MAC, and this is a mineralised powder, shade medium tan, with brown bronzer brush. Always dust a little bit over my ears so it's all blended and behind. Don't leave out this section here, because otherwise you end up with a bit of a white patch there and it just looks a bit weird. I purposely haven't tanned today, so brides don't usually wear tons of fake tan, just so I could really show you like a nice classic look. I'm just going to dust a little bit on the top of my nose, not too much. I prefer to do this over contouring for brides because it gives you that fresh face rather than like a structured, heavy, contoured look. So at this point I'm going to spray my face to set that. That was the MAC Fix Plus spray. This is the best for giving your skin a bit of life. So it just refreshes it, makes it look less makeup-y and less powdery as well. And then I'm using the MAC Vanilla Pigment, just going into the tear duct. And I'm just going to pop a little bit under my brow bone as well. I'm going to go in with a bit of mascara. I'm actually just going to put a little bit on my bottom lash as well. Apply a tiny little bit of liner just underneath, and I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Eye Cheat just to brighten and open the eyes up. So for the lip I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury and its shade Nude Cape MAC Hover Liner. Going back in with my palette and my fluffy brush, and I'm just going to apply a little bit more of this warm one here, just here. This is if you're really picky, but I am, especially with my brides. It's like the biggest day of your life, isn't it? So you want everything to be completely perfect. So a glam look like this for me takes approximately half an hour on somebody else. Whenever I do bridal makeup, this should answer a couple of questions really that my brides have probably got for me. Whenever I plan out a wedding morning, I always do a timetable for my brides, and that is usually 20 minutes in the morning just to arrive, set up, get myself a cup of tea. And, you know, I never arrive, jump straight into doing makeup. I always have that time to sort of say hello to everyone, introduce myself to whoever I haven't met, and sort of like get set up and get settled in. I think it starts the morning off really nicely to know everyone's names and stuff like that. It's a nice start to the morning. And also because I have that time to prepare and like lay out my kit, because it can sort of turn into a bit of a conveyor belt after that, because you're like one after the other, especially if you're tight for timing. So it's nice to have everything laid out in order and ready to go. Then I do about 45 minutes with the bride, half an hour for everybody else, 20 minutes in the morning, and then I also leave about an hour at the end just to do touch-ups for everyone. I also just hang about and check that everyone's alright basically until the very last minute. Never in a rush to get off or go anywhere else. I think that's really important, especially for a bride. I think I'm going to bring a little bit underneath because I want to pull it around a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to get my defining brush for this, 214. Sun keeps creeping in and out again today. So a lot of you have been asking about my wedding. Obviously if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen I was due to get married this year. I'm going to add a bit more sparkle on the eyes because why not? Be really careful if you're doing this after applying your lashes because it will drop. So where do I start? A lot of people ask me what's going on with our wedding, and to be honest, who knows? So I done things a little bit differently, and basically I booked everything myself. I don't think I've said this on my channel yet. So Luke and I are due to get married in Italy this year, and that's due to happen on the 3rd of September. Just don't know, just can't. I mean, at the minute everything is still happening with Italy and that is still in place. Unfortunately my hen do's cancelled, so I was due to go to Mykonos with 17 of my girls. We had an amazing villa planned. Our flights got cancelled, so that was my hen do out the window. And I've been planning my hen do for a good year or so, like just as long as I've been planning our wedding. So it hit me quite hard. And I did get really upset, but you know what I mean, there's worse things happening in the world right now. But a lot of people knew, you know, like all my clients knew that that was happening and that we were due to get married this year and stuff. So I'm kind of doing this chat now to catch up with you all, so I hope you're watching. It's easier to say it like this, otherwise I know I'm just gonna, as soon as I'm back to work, everyone's gonna be asking me, what the hell's going on? It's one of them things, you can't control it, and like I said, there's worse things happening in the world. So with regards to wedding, our wedding party is also cancelled. So we no longer have that either happening. I've got a whole spare room full of flowers and balloons and all sorts of bits and bobs. So keep an eye out on my Instagram because that's probably all going to be up for sale soon. So yeah, it was strange for me when this all started happening because at the beginning I just thought about my other brides. I didn't even consider that my hen do or my wedding would be that affected. But I don't know, I felt a bit naive to the situation. As soon as this happened, I was just about to go into wedding season. I've had to move over 50 weddings so far. I still have some in place for July and August, which we'll just have to see what's happening with those. I've had over 50 weddings rescheduled to either the end of this year or to next year. So if anyone is wanting to inquire for their wedding date, please get in touch as soon as possible now, especially for next year, because I think I've literally got, I don't think I've got any Saturdays left now actually. Do you know what, I'm going to put a post out on my Facebook page, which is just Leanne Marie Makeup and Beauty. I'm going to put a post out and I'll let you know my available dates because I'm crazy now next year, which is great for me. But obviously if you are still wanting to inquire about your wedding makeup, then yeah, just get in touch ASAP. I've already got bookings for 2022. They've been in place for the last like over 6 months now. I do get booked up a year or two in advance. That's another reason. So a lot of people have said to us, why have we not just picked our wedding up and moved it to next year like a lot of my brides have done? But it hasn't been possible for us because we booked everything separately. So we booked We had massive hen and stags booked. Luke was meant to be in Vegas. Then we were going off to get married in Italy with just our immediate family. And then we were coming back and having a huge party for all of our friends and the rest of our family. Just feels like it's been picked up and thrown out the window. At the minute, the most important thing to us is that our wedding day is still going to happen, and we know that that will happen, but that is the only thing that is going to happen now. The hen and stags are definitely never going to happen, the party's never going to happen, and basically if we're in a place where we do need to move our wedding in Italy, then we will just be moving that to a later date or like to next year. But we're not going to try and rearrange everything else because it's just too much, and my diary is full next year for other weddings, so it would be letting so many other people down, and I just can't do that. I've had my hen, my wedding and my party booked for over a year now, like a year and a half I think we booked it. It was last, yeah, we've had it all in place, but obviously where I take wedding bookings, I've been booked up for those for over a year, so it would be too much to try and sort out, and we're just not in a place where we'd be able to rearrange everything all together again for next year. It's just not possible. It's alright, it doesn't matter. As long as we get our wedding day in Italy, that is the most important thing. Luke and I literally just want to be married now. We just want to have our wedding day and be married, and like it's little things as well, like we've been waiting to get a dog and start a family. So it's things like that to think about. It's not just as easy as picking a date next year and waiting another year for us, because we do want to get that ball rolling. We're also renovating our house at the moment as well, so you know, we don't want that to be affected and that to stall things either. So that's basically where we're at. We're actually alright, we feel alright about it. It's a shame that we're not going to get to, you know, have our huge party and our huge hen and stags, but I'm sure we'll be celebrating with our friends in other ways. Or maybe a little garden party, like who knows, there's other ways of doing things. We're still definitely going to get time to celebrate. It's just not going to be how we thought it was going to be, and that's fine. When it's taken out of your hands, it's sort of, I don't know, it's weird. How do I explain how I'm feeling? In a weird way, I feel like there's less pressure on it now, and there's not so much to like think about, whereas before it was like I had 100 million tabs open in my head, and I thought, oh my god, how am I going to enjoy this countdown when I've got so much going on and so much to organise and so many emails and people to talk to. Like that's what the last year has been like for me, and that's all gone now, so I actually feel really calm and chilled about it, and I'm still looking forward to my wedding day, whether it's going to be in September or next year. Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity as well to send so much love to anyone that's getting married this year or has had to postpone their weddings or move them. I really feel for you, and I know exactly how you're feeling, but your day's going to happen. Your wedding day will come and it will be bigger and better than ever. I know September's probably not going to happen, but in my head I'm going to start thinking that it is, just so I can still sort of enjoy that countdown and the lead up to it. If I just don't do that and then expect that it's going to be cancelled and then it doesn't, then I've just wasted so much time where I could be enjoying myself. So I'm just trying to be positive about everything and hope that it does still go ahead. Anything else happens, I'll obviously keep you updated. If anyone needs any help or advice or anything like that with regards to your wedding, then I am going to write a blog post up and I'll pop that on my website. Just a little bit of like help and advice for postponing, or if you need to move things and like what to expect and stuff like that. So I'll try and get that written up this week, and hopefully you find that helpful. I've been reading loads of blog posts and watching loads of live videos, you know, Rock My Wedding, been doing Insta lives and stuff, answering loads of questions and making things a little bit easier to understand, because it's such a weird time right now, and like even for my business, like I'm a wedding makeup artist, so I didn't know how to handle this in the beginning, and I was just doing the best I could for everybody, but now I have to think for myself how to operate my business now and the ways to go forward with it. Love My Dress did an article as well, which is really, really helpful, so I'll link all that below and just have a good read through, because they're good for understanding, especially the one on Love My Dress, because it takes things from a supplier's point of view and also a bride's point of view, and obviously I've been stuck in the middle, I've been both, so that was really helpful for me to sort of understand how to handle things both ways, like with regards to my brides that are getting married and having to postpone, and also myself having to postpone and do things for my wedding. So yeah, I'll link that down below. Anyway, if you've got any questions with regards to the makeup I've applied today, or weddings in general, wedding questions, then just drop me a comment in the comment section below. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I've got a couple of little tips actually, just quickly. They are for when you attend your bridal trial. So as you can see, I'm wearing a white top. Sorry about that. Just went and grabbed some lunch. Luke made me a lovely lunch, so I just had to go and enjoy that. Right, where was I? So a couple of tips for attending your bridal trial. As I said in the beginning, try and have your brows waxed and your lip waxed if that's what you normally do. Pop a bit of fake tan on if you're planning on being a little bit tanned on your wedding day. Also try and wear white. So I'm probably covered in makeup now, but it's good to wear white because the colour will reflect off. If you're wearing anything other than white, then you're not going to get the sort of appearance of how your makeup, like it can throw your makeup off basically. Like if you're wearing like a pink or orange or yellow, that reflecting off on your face will create a bit of a difference. Choosing lip and colouring, it just does affect your makeup quite a bit. So just try and wear white because that's obviously what you're going to be in, or cream. Even the simplest little things like wearing some earrings. So if you're planning on wearing some earrings on the day, pop those in. You don't have to wear them to your trial. Like you could just take a white top and some earrings with you and put them in after you've had your trial, while you're still with your makeup artist. So if you need to tweak anything, you're still there and you can do so. Another thing I ask my brides to do is to bring in photos or screenshots or photos of how they want their makeup done, how they like their makeup, even if it's a few different photos, like different elements, like if they like someone's skin and then they like someone's eyes on another photo, like just bring them all in. Don't have to print them out. You can either save like a Pinterest board, or Instagram's got an option now where you can save the photos and create like albums on there as well. So maybe I'll try and show you quickly. Instagram. So you can create boards on Instagram now. So just create a little makeup board and save any makeups you like the look of. Let your makeup artist know what you normally wear, how you normally wear your makeup. Show them a picture. I often ask to see a picture of my brides with their makeup done for an evening out and then like day to day, because you kind of want to make your wedding makeup sort of a medium of those things. You know, you don't want it to be too heavy and over the top glam, but you don't want it to be not enough that, you know, too natural. We want a bit of something. But that's what I find with this kind of makeup. It's glowy, it's quite natural, but it's enough to show up on pictures and just look good and last all day without being too heavy, too dark, too colourful. And that's what I tend to do for my brides. What else? So yeah, bring pictures. Oh, also lastly would be to have your hair roughly how you're going to have it. So you don't have to have your makeup trial in the same day as your hair. Obviously, if you don't mind seeing them both together, then great. Try and book them for the same day. With bookings, it's very difficult. One thing I'd say is I allocate my weekend trial bookings between January and April, the time that I am really quiet. I've just come out, I call it my trial season, because I am rammed with trials during that time. Especially if you need a weekend appointment, it has to be during that time, because any later in the year I can't do it because I'm physically out doing a wedding. So that is something to think about. Or try and take a day out of your annual leave. A lot of people say to me they can't get the time off work and they end up having to have a trial during a weekday in an evening, which just isn't really ideal. So try and block a day out, you know, take a day as holiday and get your dress fit in, your makeup and your hair done, maybe all in one day. And then if you do want to see it all sort of come together, then you could do that. So just think about that, because usually makeup artists and hairdressers are crazy busy at the weekend actually doing weddings. So just keep that in mind. That's just how things work for me. Other makeup artists might be different. They might not be as busy and they might be able to do trials at the weekend, but it's just not doable for me. If you're having your hair trial, I'd recommend having that done afterwards, just because when you're moving the face around quite a lot, having your makeup done, you don't want to be pulling out or risking touching your hair. Same for the wedding morning, always suggest having your makeup done first. If you're not having your hair trial done on the same day as your makeup, then just pop your hair back like it roughly would be. Just pop it into a low bun or just tie it back like I have today. If you're going to be having your hair down, give it a little curl or style it when you get home, but try and do that before you go to your trial, just so you can see it all together. So try and have your trial done as early as you can in the morning and get the full wear out of it so you can really see how well it lasts all day. I always try and do my trials first thing in the morning so my brides can go home, leave it on all day and really get the wear out of it and see how well it lasts into the evening. One thing I do find brides struggle a little bit with is lip colour. So I'd say before you go to your bridal trial, spend a day in town, lakeside, wherever, go to a few makeup counters, test out some lipsticks. If you find a lipstick which you think is perfect for your wedding day, buy it. Take it to your trial. So that's another tip. Other than that, I think I've covered everything. Yeah, I think that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you like my first bridal trial look. I'm gonna do a whole series on bridal trials, loads of different options and loads of things to see. So if you'd like to see that, please subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell to be, I don't know where the bell is, I don't know what side it is. That will give you a notification as soon as I upload. At the minute, I am uploading on a Tuesday morning and also a Thursday evening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you next week for another video.